Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Today is fun because I did a box store run. I never do a box store run. It's not even actually a box store, it's a grocery store run. I did a grocery store run to find some rare plants. Did I find any? Maybe. We'll see. But I've been hearing all these people talk about how they've found Thai constellations, ghosts, Florida ghosts, and such things at big box stores and grocery stores, more specifically, probably grocery stores. And so I thought I would try my luck and take a trip down to good old Kroger and see if they had anything. Now, I kind of just stopped doing big box stores and like grocery stores for plants specifically because I was just coming up empty-handed and it was just kind of boring and I was seeing the same things and nothing really new. And so I just kind of stopped, gave up on it. But I did a pop-up a couple weekends ago, and just the amount of people that came in saying that they had found Florida ghosts, Thai constellations at their local grocery stores was astounding. And so I thought, you know what, we're going to try it out. So on Mother's Day, I had my husband, kids drive me to Kroger, and I went in to see if I could find anything good. So we're going to see if we did today. So if you're new here, this is a channel where I talk about houseplants and do DIYs. So if that interests you, be sure to subscribe so that you can see more videos like this one. And if you are a recurring viewer, thank you so much for coming back and watching another video. So went to Kroger, walked in, there were a ton of plants because it was Mother's Day, so they were definitely filled. I did find, indeed, a Florida ghost. I should have taken a video of it because they were the saddest things I had ever seen, and $30. I could not believe that. It was just like not good. I'm like, you just need to set these out on the side of the road and give them away for free because they're all probably going to die. So I did not get one of those. I do have a Florida ghost already. I bought it a year ago or so as a little small tissue culture and have been growing it. I'm going to be fairly honest with you. I don't enjoy the Florida greens, the Florida ghosts. Not a fan. I don't know why, but the Florida ghost specifically just is doing not great. It's growing, but it is taking an extremely long time to grow. I mean, in the last year I've had it, it has probably put out one new leaf. Yes, I have fertilized it and I have repotted it. It sits under a Barina grow light. And the new foliage that did come out is green. It is not white. All of the white died off of the plant, and now all that is left is the green, which is totally typical because the white means there's a lack of chlorophyll and it cannot sustain itself without extreme humidity and the perfect conditions, and it just dies off. So I am not really sure what to say about that one. I would probably never repurchase it again. When I bought it again, it was in a small little 4-inch pot and had a few leaves, and they were just, again, you could tell it was a tissue culture because none of the leaves looked like the mature form. They were just all strands, basically. I don't know how to describe it, but it was not great. So I probably wouldn't purchase that one again. You can keep an eye out because I did find it. But I did find a ton of plants there that were just common, like common house plants. However, I started looking in carts because they had carts that were all out and they were restocking the plant area. And I found this. I found this lovely little bunch of Hoya Kerrii. Now, I have had a Hoya Kerrii because you've seen them at Valentine's Day. You've probably seen them on special occasions. They come in the small little pots as a single leaf. So that single leaf will never produce anything other than that single leaf because they have cut the node off of the plant. And so it will just forever be that little leaf. Mine eventually died. It lasted probably a good 2.5 years, honestly, in the pot. It did really well for what it was. And I actually purchased one for another friend, and it lasted, I believe, like 3 years, which was really impressive. So they will last a good while. I just finally gave up on it. I guess stopped looking at it because nothing was ever going to grow from it. So it just kind of felt like a pointless plant in my collection. But when I saw this large basket, I had to buy it. It was $10.99. And so it doesn't look bad. Like it honestly, hold on, let's take it out of this thing. Doesn't look like the leaves are you know, that one's obviously a little cracked there, but it doesn't look like the leaves are damaged or are deteriorating. A lot of times when you see these guys too, they're super shriveled up. And so I haven't seen a pot of this size available in any store. I've only seen these in specialty stores, and they go for a good penny. And so $10.99, I thought, let's try it out. So I'm going to take these out of the soil and see if these single ones are just plugs and this is the only vine, or what we have going here. But I just decided to take one more glance through the carts to see what else that they had there and see if I could find anything good. And I came across another one, another Hoya Kerrii basket. This one looks to be vining a lot more than the first one. And to boot, it's splashy. So it has variegation on it right there, and a few of the other leaves growing here. It's very subtle. But I was like, that's really exciting, because if you want a variegated Kerrii, which most likely they're going to be like the Hoya Kerrii that have the variegation on the outside, they're not going to be splashy like this. The baskets of those run $40 to $90 from what I have seen personally in stores. I thought this was awesome. So we're going to check both of these out, unpop them, and see what type of root system we're working with. And hopefully those little single plugs will actually be full cuttings, because how fun would it be to grow the Hoya Kerrii? These are a bright light loving plant, so that means you do need a lot of light to actually care well for these guys and for them to grow. They are a massive leaf. I mean, look at the foliage on them. They're not a dinner plate Hoya by any means, but they are a larger foliage Hoya. And so with that comes more light, less water. These are very easy to overwater. They store water in their leaves. They are a succulent type plant, so it makes the care kind of easy for them. That's a fly. The care kind of easy for them, but you do need the right light requirements for them. I'm going to take this on out because it's in soil, and if you are new here, I don't do soil. I do a soilless mix. Oh, okay. So they're pretty good root system there. That's all white, so that is a plus. That scared me. I thought that was a worm. We're good. This is the root system that it's got going on. I am going to try to be very gentle with this because I don't want to break them too much and cause them any stress, but I do want this soil off of them. It is sopping wet. Maybe I should have waited till it was dry, but these guys are soaked, so there's no telling how long that would have taken. Because again, if it's just this single leaf cutting like this, where they just took it and they cut it right there, it will survive, but it will produce no growth. You have to take a cutting like this, where there is still like this, where there is still a node point that a new leaf could come out of. So if this one right in front is just a stem, like I showed, it's not going to produce anything. Ooh, okay, so there's two, you can definitely tell there is two plants in here. So let's see this guy, because it was like perfectly, I don't know how to describe, separated. So this is that root system. Kind of going to be bummed if all of these three are just like not, just leaf cuttings. I will tell you that the first Hoya Kerrii I ever bought, which was just a single cutting, and it was probably like back in 2020, honestly, it was $30 just for a single leaf that was going to die. And I had no idea at the time because I wasn't big into Hoya. And then I figured out later on that, that was the case. So spent $30 on that. But I will say, when I purchased mine, that was just a single cutting, and I knew it was just a single cutting, I purchased it for $10. So, I mean, we're already ahead at $11 for an actual vining plant. This guy is really well rooted, and I can't tell. This is just a single cutting, but it is just a single cutting. So they probably added a single cutting in here with maybe just to create a more full pot, to give it that illusion that it was a full pot. But this guy right here is definitely just a single leaf cutting, and I cannot tell. I don't know, maybe. He's got enough room there, but whether or not, so he's got a good root system, but it is just a single cutting, and I cannot tell if like this chunk here is just the stem cutting, so there's no node space there, which I think is what it is. So maybe I'll just keep it as a single cutting and, you know, see what happens. These take a really long time to grow in general, but yeah, that's just a single guy. I have a feeling that these two are the same. So this is just a single guy, and yeah, it's just a single cutting. I don't know, like I probably need to get closer to the camera. This is just also a single cutting. This one's actually even worse. This one has no, like, it is just literally the cutting. And then this one does have a little bit more of a, not to spill everything. So this one does have right here a bit more of a stem area if the lighting's terrible. Like here versus like this guy has somewhat of a stem area right there. But this guy, I don't know, like he just kind of doesn't have any stem area. Do you see how the roots are growing? So the roots will still grow, and that's why I'm saying it will still sustain itself. But there's nothing for another leaf to grow out of. So all of these three right here are duds, unfortunately. Not duds, but they're not going to grow anything. They will just forever and always be a single leaf. This guy, let's see what we've got here. There are two more single leaves down here, I assume. So I will break those apart just to make sure. But I know that I have one good, like, trailing guy here, which the leaves on top look a little sad, and so I might end up chopping those and propagating them. Hoya, I have found, propagate really well in perlite and closed. So in an enclosed box or jar, whatever you can do to keep that humidity in. Whoa, that was a mess. But I rooted a Hoya, I don't know if it was a pubicalix or what it was, like a carnosa of some sort. And it did really well, rooted really quickly in perlite. So I will do that again with this if I decide to chop it. A lot of roots in here, which is great. But I'm trying to see. Okay, so this is again, oh, okay, this is again single cutting, little roots, will grow nothing. Ooh, but these roots are really thick down here. And I think it's from the actual vining one. Yeah, so that's interesting too. This root system is really thick and nice. I don't know, this one might be a contender. He might have a node, I don't know. But like you can see that thick white root right there. And then that white root right here is really thick and really good and healthy, which is awesome. That's awesome that they're really healthy like that. This one might eventually produce a leaf. I don't know, because it actually has a pretty long stemmed area, but we'll see. I'll put it in the single pile, but this guy is the vining one. So this one, you can see it has this leaf right here. It has a little leaf that came out somewhere, and then it has two more up top. I am going to just probably keep that one as is. And it has a really thick white root system here that you can't really see, but trying to see right there. So I honestly might end up just chopping this one back, propagating this top part. But we're going to keep that over there for now. It's a lot of soil. Look at that. Look how much there, I mean, I guess you can't. There is like a mound of soil to actually root ratio. Not awesome, especially when it's a Hoya. Hoya do not like being overwatered. They do not like sitting in stagnant water and moist soil. So it's just not an ideal situation for it to be in. They like aerated, good soil. So I will be sticking it in my mix. But let's check out this one. So I know that two of these are vining because I see this one down here and this one up top. But as for the rest of them, I don't know. So we're going to see here. This one actually has a root growing out the bottom, which is a good sign. I mean, they are well rooted. I'm very surprised at how well rooted they are. Ooh, oops. So this is the variegated one. Let's take all this. See, again, it just like broke apart. So these were like two separate plants that they put together. So this is my single side. Well, no, there's a vine right there, but this is the single one. This single one's not as well rooted as the other ones. Still is fine, but this is definitely just a single cutting. There's that guy. And I think this is all part of one plant. This is the not variegated one, so this one that's down on the table here is the variegated part. These are just regular old heartleaf, which are still incredibly cool. Okay, actually this is two separate plants. Okay, so this one again is a single guy, and this is the vining one. I will definitely chop this one back if it has any hope of survival. This one does not look the greatest, but I will definitely chop it back here and see what can grow out of it. I do feel like a node right down here where there were leaves, but they fell off. So I will chop that guy. This is the variegated one that I really hope is not a single cutting. We've got some yellowing on the foliage on this side, so that's a sign of overwatering. So this is just a single leaf cutting. Yep, this guy back here is just a solo, so there's only one variegated part of this entire plant, which is fine. So this guy is a solo, and then this is the variegated part. So it has a good little root system. Yeah, this leaf is part of it. So that's actually a really good little plant. I'm not going to chop it. I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to put this in my greenhouse actually and let it grow after I repot it. But I will be interested to see if this one grows because that's the variegated part right there. And then again, it has a little bit of a splash on here on that leaf. And then the same for this little leaf, but it's so minimal. However, if you give it the right light, it might just start to produce something. So overall, we've got 3 vining plants out of this. We've got 1, and we've got the second one, and we've got the third one. Otherwise, the rest of these plants are all just single cuttings. Again, I could be wrong. They could eventually put off, new foliage. I can't see it, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 little single leaves, which they are so cute. That's why I didn't mind spending $10 on when I purchased them because they're little perfect little hearts. And again, you can keep them alive. It's not that you can't keep them alive. It's just that they're not going to be more than that. And it can be a bummer. So, and it's not something, again, that I want to personally keep in my collection if it's not going to grow. But the other ones, I'm going to, again, keep this one. The roots all look really healthy. I'm going to chop this one, and then I'm going to chop this one. I'm going to see just what they will do in perlite and propagate them. But first, I need to go and wash my hands. I decided that I was going to put them in perlite. Yeah, I think a good majority of them are perlite. So I am going to propagate the 2 plants. I'll put them in 1. What I do is I take 2 red solo cups, poke holes in the bottom of 1. So I've got my holes in the bottom of the 1, and then I will put water in this bottom one that has no holes in it. But at first, I just kind of put perlite in it. Not kind of. I put perlite in it, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut my plants. I cut it down further. Oops. I'm going to stick it in there. I'm also going to just stick this guy in there, because why not? Then I'm going to cut this guy down a little further, like that. Stick it in there, like so. And then I'm probably just going to keep that one over there. And then I will cover the rest with perlite. So I just kind of do that. Now I will go fill this with water and then set it inside, and it will soak all of it up. Same for this guy. I'm just going to poke holes in it. Again, perlite for Hoya, at least the one Hoya that I have propagated, just seems to do so well. I mean, it grew roots so quickly, and I might just cover them as well. So for this guy, this variegated one, I'm going to stick it in perlite as well. Put a little perlite in there, stick the plant in with its soil, it's fine. Because it already has a root system, so now I just want to kind of keep it stable and just grow a thicker, healthier root system. And so I'm hoping that the perlite will help me do that. So there's that one. Now for all of these little guys, if I had a bowl, I probably would just stick them all in it. I do not though, so I don't know how many I'm going to fit in here. Like realistically, probably not very many because they are very well rooted. I may be able to fit 4 out of like, what did I say, 9 or 10 that I have here. I'll stick that guy in there. Yeah, I guess that's really it. 4. Maybe I'll stick the less rooted one. So that one's less rooted. It's really good. Honestly, they're not all that bad. That one's not well rooted. That one's really, oh yeah, that one's part of that guy. So I'm going to stick all of those in there to the perlite, see how they grow. And then maybe I'll just stick the rest of these guys in my soilless mix. I'm not sure. All of those are covered. Look at that cute stuff. So I will just put water in the bottom of that one. And again, let them soak it up. And then what to do with these guys. I really don't want to stick them in water because I feel like that will create a shock for them. So what do I want to do? I have these little guys. I could just pot them up. Maybe I could pot up like 2. Is that cute or no? Is that cute? Like 2 hearts? 2 hearts are better than 1. Okay. I don't know. You know, like you always see them because I have these cute little pots that I had for Mother's Day. Then this guy is definitely, he's trailing. So, maybe I do that. Maybe I just do that. And I won't do the 2, I'll do the 1 here. Way it matches everything else. That'd be uneven. So maybe I'll just do that. Just stick them in these little pots. These are little 2-inch pots, and let them grow. Now I need to go get soil. And I will definitely be sticking these all under my Barina grow lights or in my greenhouse. All the propagations are going in the greenhouse. These guys are going to stay out under my Barina grow lights in here or in our bedroom setup that I have going. Okay, so I mixed up a bit of my soilless soil. I'll put these over here. All right, so my soilless soil mix is available on my Etsy shop. It does not have peat moss or soil. It is soilless. I have a lot of perlite in here because that's what I had in this bucket before I, filled it up with my soil. So it's going to be perlite heavy. However, I kind of think that that's okay, seeming that they grow well in perlite. So that little guy is cute. It's going over there. This guy is rooted, planted. Okay, this guy is planted. That little guy. All right, so that's pretty much it. Now I have these last 2 cuttings that I need to figure out what to do with, but I'm just going to let them sit here for a minute, and I'm going to figure that out. This guy definitely needs to be potted up into my soil, so I guess that's not a figuring out issue. I might go get another pot to put this in, or I might just try to stick it back in a perlite because it does not have a lot of roots, and I should have stuck it in with like one of these guys. But here we are. Yeah, we're going to do that. Hold on. I'm going to stick it in here with him because it's not well rooted. Not that it's not well rooted. It's not as rooted as the other Hoya that are in here. Covered that. Perfect. Wow. Perlite. Okay, so the last one that I need to pot up is this one. And I will pot it up in a regular soil mix and see what happens. But it should have a new growth point like right here. I can see the little bump on it where the node that needs to activate, and we'll see if that grows. That was it. That was my haul for the grocery store. So if you are interested in finding a Hoya of your own, specifically the Hoya Kerrii, go check out your local Kroger and see what they have. Maybe you'll find a Thai constellation. Maybe you'll find a good looking Florida ghost. So whatever it is, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe and we will see you next time.